Hey, Lindsay, good, good. How are you
I'm
today?
good. I'm having a good day, learning a lot today, but it's all good. Sometimes we have these days where we just learn a lot.
Yes, exactly. And it seems like really, really overwhelming,
Yes.
but then when you look back at it, it's like, okay, well, there was
Yeah, I
necessary.
think that's how our listeners probably feel when where they're being thrown into a situation like at work, right? Business English, where you have to
Right.
use English. Maybe you're on a conference call, someone calls you out of the blue. I know how that feels. We
Right.
all know how that feels, right, Michelle?
Absolutely, we definitely do. So, Lindsay, we are starting a small
Okay.
series. There are two parts to it on a fun but very common structure that I realized. Like, I started planning the episode, and I was like, we gotta do more than one episode on this because there's a lot here. Do you want to hear what the structure
Yes,
is?
please tell me, what is the structure?
Okay, I'm calling
Okay,
it this.
I'm ready.
It's X to X.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not X to Y.
Okay.
It's X to
It's not
X.
X to Z
Okay?
or ABC.
So,
It's X to X.
not X to Z, not X to Q, not X to, right? Okay. It's something to something, the same thing. Okay. So I will show you what I mean. Probably our listeners are watching or listening and saying, what is she talking about?
I know.
This silly lady. But no, it'll all make sense in a second. So we're gonna do part one today. So, but guys, before we get into it, we'll leave you on the edge of your seats. Remember that we do have the IELTS Energy podcast over with Jessica and Aubrey.
Absolutely.
Right,
I mean, those guys are taking years and years of Jessica's examiner experience and wrapping it up into a podcast for you guys. So that is the place to go to learn about IELTS. And today's episode, by the way, is on YouTube, right? Our listeners have to know that in case you're over in the podcast world. That's great. Stay over there. But if you do want to see us on video today, you can go over to YouTube and find this episode. So good stuff, Michelle.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get into this. So let's give an example. So finally we know
let's see what we're talking about today.
Okay, so the first one is wall to wall.
Yeah, I like this. You know what? I have to admit something. I love carpeting. I know that seems like I love carpet.
Really?
I love it. I love having I know like most people nowadays it's like wood floors, right? You have to have a beautiful wood floor, but especially in a bedroom upstairs, I want to step into a carpet when I get out of bed in the morning. I do not want to put my feet on a wood floor. So I'm a little I feel like it's kind of uncool to admit that, but wall-to-wall carpeting is what I want.
Well, but what about other rooms?
So for a office like this one, I don't have that and I want it. And my bedroom, I want it. But yeah, I suppose downstairs I don't want it because it would get really dirty. What about you?
True.
What are your
That's
thoughts
true.
on carpeting?
Yeah, I'm of the no carpet
okay.
sort, I guess. But I should have. I mean, I wear socks.
Okay,
to bed,
you do? I
so
can't wear socks
guess
in
that's
bed.
solved.
Ugh.
Yes, yeah, I know a lot of people don't like to do that, but I like to, especially, I'm actually wearing some fuzzy socks now. If I could lift my foot to that level, you would see, but, I don't know. So I guess that kind of solves that problem for me with the carpet situation. I do know what you mean. I like my feet to be warm when I get out of bed, but I don't know. I don't have carpet. I mean, I'm right next to my bed, and I don't have carpeting. A rug
would be good.
A rug
would suffice. What a good word for our listeners. Very high level, guys. Suffice. That is going to be in the app today for a keyword that.
Maybe I'll do a whole
Yeah,
episode
I mean, we
on
get
that.
episode ideas constantly. So I've admitted what I'm ashamed of. I love carpet and I love wall-to-wall carpeting, especially in a bedroom or an office. So that is what it is, right, Michelle? Wall to wall. And what exactly are we saying? I mean, it's clear.
It's like from one wall to the other, the whole
Exactly.
room.
So here's a sample sentence. There's wall-to-wall carpeting, but I want to rip it up and fix the hardwood. That's exactly what most people think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, hardwood did become very popular, but like I know it used to not be that way. I wonder if it'll swing back.
I hope so. I'm on the part of the movement to swing it back. That's for sure.
That's good. So I mean, do you really do you hear wall to wall in a lot of other ways, or do you think it's mostly with
I
the
really
carpeting?
can't think of any other way. I mean, I guess you might say wall to wall hardwood floor, but for some reason it's more common with carpeting because it's saying that literally the whole floor is carpeted. It's not just a spot rug, right?
Right. Exactly. So yeah, guys, when you're talking about carpeting, you can use this. Wall to wall is generally used with carpeting. I can't even really think of another
No, I can't either.
scenario
I can't
where
either.
it's
So
used.
that's a really great
Yeah.
phrase. This is a fantastic construction, right? The X to X, guys. So write this down today. Do we have another example, Michelle?
We have a few. So what's the next
Bumper
one? Lindsay?
to
Tell us.
bumper. So this means literally, if you imagine it, guys, cars touching each other's bumpers, right? Very heavy traffic. Have you been in this kind of traffic lately?
Very. Oh, lately, I'm sure, but but I'm in it often. I mean, my husband, he has a long drive to and from work, and he gets stuck in traffic all the time. And yeah, so he might say something like, oh, it's bumper to bumper, right? You don't have to say, instead of saying like, oh, there's heavy traffic, you might say, oh, it's bumper to bumper. So like, oh, I wanted to be there at 10, but now there's bumper to bumper traffic, so I'm
Exactly. That's a great one. I know the traffic's really busy where you are in the country, New Jersey, New York area. Crazy drivers there in Jersey too. They're known for their driving. They have a reputation, by the way, but they do.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Awesome. All right. I love it. So what's the next
Okay,
one, Lindsay?
paycheck to paycheck. Now, this is really useful when you're talking about socioeconomic issues, the state of the economy, guys. It means that basically you never save any money. If you live paycheck to paycheck, you rely on every single cent of your paycheck, and then by the time you get the next one, your money's gone. You have zero savings, zero cushion. Right, Michelle?
Yeah, and a lot of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, more than you might imagine.
It's incredible. Yeah.
So it's a real problem.
Yeah.
Just like this idea that we're not saving, like, and that if there's a problem, you may, go into poverty. You may not be able to pay.
Might
your
lose your
bills,
house,
so
right,
paycheck
Michelle?
to
Lose your
paycheck.
house. And
Right.
I mean, yeah, we don't have, like, that's a major issue that I think needs to be resolved. Like, I think we need to be encouraged more to have emergency funds and that kind of thing. So here's a sample sentence. I live paycheck to paycheck, so I don't have savings yet. Yet is the key word.
Right. Right. So yeah, that's a very important one that you would probably hear, you might hear people talk about it on the news
for sure.
or something like that. But yeah, very important to know about the economy, and that's a good one.
Okay. What's the next one here? This is interesting.
Okay. So this one I think is a little bit outdated just with where we are in language, is like man to man or woman to woman. Do you hear this? Like, oh, let's talk man to man, or let's talk
I
woman
do.
to
Why
woman.
would you say it's outdated? This is interesting. I agree. It's somewhat outdated. Yeah.
Well, I guess because we have so much changing with gender, and I think that the language is kind of following that.
Yes.
So to box it in, and also just like, because what it means is like, what I think when people say like, oh, man to man, it's almost like this like tough guy, like, let's talk man to man.
Yeah.
And I think that idea is also, has changed. And so I feel like these expressions are slightly outdated.
I
What do you
totally
think?
agree. It makes me think of two things. The first scenario makes me think of an old boys club, right? The old boys club idea of like all the guys sharing their secrets, helping each other get ahead in life. So it becomes really hard for women to get ahead because man to man, like, women aren't allowed here in this conversation. Let's talk man to man about this possible promotion you could get. Let's get you this promotion, right? Or it makes me think of a father to a son, right? If he needs to teach his kid a lesson or something, hey, let's talk, come on over, kid. Let's talk man to man, right? That one to me is not quite as nefarious, right? Because it's just, father-son time. But I agree with you that these are becoming a little outdated as gender is changing in some ways, right? For people, right? Gender identity is changing and society is moving with people's different identities, which I love that. So I see what you mean. Right. It can be a little exclusive, this idea of man to man.
Right. Because, when you say like, oh, like, if I were to say to you, Lindsay, like, let's talk woman to woman, like, it's just, Yeah, I think I like how you put it, like it's like exclusive feeling or like that. I don't know. I don't. It's just when I wrote it, I realized.
It's interesting.
I don't know. I could see this one kind of going away
Oh yeah,
at some point.
yeah. I mean, language goes away,
all.
right? Language gets old, and we retire certain aspects of. This is what we love to talk about on this show: is how relevant are certain phrases, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how many of these expressions today, like we're able to have deeper conversations about.
It's true. It's true.
You know,
absolutely. Yeah, I love it. Okay.
But yeah, so you might use this for a fight or just a talk, but yeah, you could hear somebody saying, let's talk this out.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So good stuff. So guys, you can choose if you want to use that or not, but just know it may feel a little exclusionary for some people, or maybe just think of another way to use it. Hey, can I talk to you? Right? Something very straightforward, right? Can we chat? Can we talk? There'd be other things to say. Yeah.
Right. All right. So, okay. Should we
Let's
do a role
do it,
play?
Michelle. In this case, we are in the car and we are friends. So here we go. Oh man, Michelle, this traffic is bumper to bumper.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be late. So, Lindsay, are you going to keep that wall-to-wall carpeting?
Well, probably for a while. It's not like I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but I want to save up a little more before I make any big changes.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh man, Paul and my dad did get in a big fight yesterday. They said, let's settle this man to man, and I was so embarrassed.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Why was I embarrassed? I don't get the context.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking that Paul might be your friend, or I don't know, and maybe they're starting to fight, and they started to like talk like that, and it was
it could be. It could also be, I guess, someone trying to start a fight. Maybe like, let's go out around back and to get work through this man to man. I guess you could see that. Yeah,
man
in the back of the bar or something.
Right. Let's take this outside.
Take this outside. That's the phrase. Okay.
I'll meet you by the flagpole. Yeah.
Oh, not good. Do not do that. So here I said, oh man, this traffic is bumper to bumper. And again, guys, we talked about that one. That's where all the cars are literally, we also say it's a parking lot out here. Don't we say that sometimes? It's a parking lot.
Yes, it's a parking lot. Yeah, that's right.
All the cars are literally just parked. They're not moving. So that's bumper to bumper traffic. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And then I said, are you going to keep the wall-to-wall carpeting? So we're like waiting in traffic, right? So we're, having these conversations.
Yeah, so we have time to talk, something to chat about,
carpeting?
Right?
We have time. Yeah, the wall-to-wall carpeting in your new place. So literally, from one wall to the other.
And I probably wouldn't, but I probably would upstairs, like I said, as I admitted earlier. But I said it's not like I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but I want to save up a little money. When you move into a new house, you do have to decide, Michelle, what to invest in, right?
Right. You might, some people like do all their projects right away. They want to move in right away. And some people might just do things slowly over time.
Exactly. That's probably a lot smarter. So we do have that emergency fund.
That's right.
What else? What's the last one?
And then you said, we were talking about this guy Paul, and your dad and their fight. And they said, let's settle this man to man, right? So talk man to man, and then there's like settle this or discuss this, right? You could do a lot of different things, but so man,
I don't think I've ever really witnessed an actual fight, like men or women, like physically. I've never seen, like you see in the movies all the time, right? Like we just went to see Spider-Man over the weekend. It was good. It's not my usual type of flick, but I had fun with it. It was cool. And obviously you see a lot of fighting. I don't really see that very much in real life. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen stuff, but not too frequently.
Knock on wood. All right. So Michelle, what's the takeaway today for our listeners? What would you say?
All right. Well, guys, this is a good structure. We've named it the X to X structure, and it's useful for a lot of idioms. We realize that there's so many. that have this, just one thing to one thing, the same two things. And these have led us into deeper conversations, and they're very natural. So try these out, and then, guys, we're going to do the part 2 on this one soon, so we can do some extra.
Yeah, guys, check out for part 2 in the next couple of weeks. We'll be back on to extend this conversation. Guys, this is the kind of stuff you don't learn in a textbook. All right, so good stuff. Definitely not, Michelle. All right, thanks for hanging out today, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.